Very good. Now you have your characters all developed, and hopefully now that we know what they look like, how they think, what they want, maybe you've done some artwork for them and you put them in big size, people size posters and sit them around your house, sit them around your school, sit them around your library so that everybody can think of them and look at them as we go into the story and we start to use our characters to enhance our story and play with the minds of the people either reading our stories or viewing our videos or looking at our animated cartoon or playing our interactive game. So here we go. Now we want to go into the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. Throughout time, people have told stories. Believe it or not, there was a day when they didn't have pencils and papers. All they had was rocks. And people would sit around a fire and they'd tell stories. The Nubians of Africa used to make excellent stories prior to the Greeks or the Romans. I mean, you look at all kinds of people wrote stories like forever. That's how people entertain one another before you had YouTube and television. People would sit around or they would go to, if you go, I've been to Izmir, Turkey. That's where they have Ephesus, the oldest library in the world, they say. They have a coliseum there that sits 25,000 people. That's 2,000 years ago. 25,000 people. 2,000 years ago would go to this place and listen to people tell stories. Stories are not new. Okay? So throughout time, people have broken stories into the beginning, the middle, and the end of a story. That makes a good story. Now, we all know people that talk a lot. And we know people that we like to listen to, people we don't like to listen to. People we don't like to listen to just go on and on and on. They just talk. You know, you go to a movie and there's no beginning, middle, and end. You don't know what's going on in the movie. There's no character development. You get bored. You leave 10 minutes into the movie. It's boring, okay? Boring people. They just go on and on and on. They never get to the point. They never give you a message. They just like to talk. That's a bad story. If you want traditionally, if you want a good story, you have a theme, you have a message in your one-sentence story summary, you have an idea of what you're going to tell people, and then you break your story into the beginning, the middle, and the end. So what we want to do now is we want to come up with a beginning. Now I use when I write a story, I use a movie script formula. And what that means is when you go to the movies, somebody actually wrote the script for that movie. Traditionally, movie scripts are 120 pages long. Each minute of a movie is one page in the script. So somebody has to write 120 pages. And of course, when it comes to writing, there is no right and wrong. I suppose some scripts are like 200 pages. Maybe other scripts are 90 pages. It depends upon the writer and the producer and how much money they have and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So the beginning of my stories, if it were a movie, would be 30 minutes. The middle is 60 minutes. The end is 30 minutes. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. I write children's books. Children's books are 32 pages long. Some are 48 pages. Then you have your short stories. But with a 32-page Dr. Seuss book, that gives you 8 pages for the beginning, 16 pages for the middle, 8 pages for the end. Now I'm going to be writing some much shorter cartoons that are going to be really short. Let's go back to the children's books. 32 pages long, but if you get rid of the pictures, it's only like 2 pages of writing. So you have like a half a page to make the beginning, then maybe a page and a half to make the middle, and then the last half of the page to make the end. So it depends. Writing children's books is a very tight, right. You can't mess around. You got to mean business when you go in there. So, beginning, middle, end. In the beginning of my stories, I like to start out with something fantastic happening immediately to get the audience's attention. You ever go to a movie and you're sitting there and it's been like hours going on, you're trying to figure out what's going on in the movie? If you watch Law and Order on television, not that you should, it's very violent, I'd stay away from it myself, but in every episode of Law and Order, somebody's dead in the first 1 minute of the movie. Not that you want to talk about death in your story, because death is a very bad thing, so to speak, depending on who you talk to. But after 1 minute in Law and Order, you're going to find somebody dead. That's just the way it is. You know, that's how they get the audience's attention. That way we know what the main characters want. They want to find who did this to the dead person. Right away. Bing! There you go. Now, so in my story, something happens very exciting. We find out what the character wants right away. And then the character goes off trying to figure out what they want. And they're getting closer and closer to what they want. And right at the end of the beginning of the story, something gets in their way. Oh no, they almost got it. They almost got what they wanted. Uh-oh, E.T. almost got to go home. That's funny. Oh, Dorothy almost found the way home. Oh boy, no, Dorothy. Oh, poor Dorothy, she can't go home. Okay, the middle of the story, same thing. We know what the character wants. Okay, so in the middle of the story, the character's getting closer to getting what they want. They're getting closer to getting what they want. All kinds of weird side stuff is going on. Okay, so they get, it's almost the end of the middle of the story. They almost get what they want. Oh, they're gonna get what they, oh no, Dorothy, she can't go home. E.T. can't go home. Silly Billy doesn't get the books back. Oh no, let's go to the end of the story. Same thing. We know what the character wants. We know what they've been through. And you have to look back or forward as far as what the character is getting, what they aren't getting. What are the side characters doing to get in the way of the character to get what they want? What are the good characters in your story? What are they doing to help the characters get what they want? So we're at the end of the story, and we're getting closer and closer, and our main character is almost going to get what they want. We're at the almost very end. If it's a movie, we're like 5 minutes away from the end of the movie. Okay. If you're watching a TV show, it never fails. Watch TV. Watch the end. You're like 18 minutes into the TV show if it's a half an hour, and there's like 8 minutes left, and you're trying to figure out, well, what's going to happen? You can look at the clock and say, well, they only got 8 minutes. Something's got to happen now. They still haven't figured out what's going on, so they only got 8 minutes. So right at the end, something bad happens that stops our main character from getting what they want, but with about 3 minutes left in the TV show or the movie, poof, everything works out, and then they roll the credits and you see the end written by Sambo Jambo and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, and you see the characters walking away into the sunset, everybody's happy. So that is the beginning, middle, and the end of the story. We started out exciting, real fast. Bam! What? Oh, tornado. What was that? Okay? Right at the beginning. Get people excited. Why make them wait a half an hour? Okay? Then we set up what the character wants. Then stuff gets in their way, gets in their way. And you build upon bad stuff in the way. You got little stuff getting in the way. You got medium stuff getting in the way. Then you get big stuff getting in the way. You play with the mind of the viewer the whole way through. That's your job. Your job is to mess with people's brains. That's your job. So we're going to come back and talk more about the beginning. Now in this portion for the beginning, middle, and end, we don't want to be real in depth. If you can just come up with, like, you know, just an idea of the beginning, middle, and end, and then we're going to go in more in depth into the full beginning, middle, and end briefly in our next episode.